continent, and the Americans had an army up in Peekskill. And in between, people kept getting the squeeze. There were both loyalists to the British and American revolutionaries in the area, and not only did they have to worry about each other, but they had to worry about the British sending an army up and pillaging and plundering, and the Americans doing the same. Ostensibly, the British would pillage from the loyalists, and the Americans would pillage from their own militia troops, but pretty much if somebody was hungry, they'd sack anybody's farm or shop that was in the area. So it was not a good place to be during the American Revolution. However, there were some Americans that were truly in it for the long haul. This commemorates about 70 of them. They are not buried here. They're all buried down in the old Dutch churchyard, but there was no room down there for monument, so when the villages got around to, in 1894, by the way, a little slow here in Sleepy Hollow, when they got around in 1894 to commemorating the valiant locals who served in the American Revolution, they put the monument here in Sleepy Hollow Cemetery and graciously accepted it. It is, by the way, located in the middle of a little earth redoubt, which did see service during the American Revolution. Not that there were any battles fought here, but it was a little watchtower from which the American militia could picture at the time this was farmland. None of these trees around blocking the view. You had a straight view down the old Albany Post Road, and you could see that the British were sending a regiment up. You also had a nice view of the Tappan Zee here, the Hudson River, and you could see that the British were sending any ships up. And from there you could send a rider up to warn Israel Putnam's army up in Peekskill, or you could light a signal bonfire. We know up on the top of the hill where the Rockefeller estate is, there's a signal bonfires up there which they would light if the British were making any movement. So,
is the Rockefeller estate the thing that looks like the big castle when you're coming across the bridge?
No, that in fact is a big castle. That was built by a guy named Howard Carroll, who actually is buried in here. He was a journalist and an investor, and he built that as his home. The Rockefeller's estate you can't see from the thruway. If you were out on the Hudson River, you could see it, but you'd have to be north of Nyack.
Now, is that living? Are people in it now?
They do still own the estate, yeah.
So the Tarrytown Castle is something completely different.
Yep. Yep. That now operates as an inn and a restaurant and nice food. Expensive too, but very good.
Like
well worth it.
$600 a night or something?
Yeah, it's pricey to stay there. Anyway, the little earth redoubt that I mentioned, you can see the remains of it right behind me there. The cemetery's receiving vault that we're in is right over there. That was the western side of the earth redoubt. So a little history there. Anyway, it's not quite accurate to say that we have no veterans of the American Revolution here. This monument commemorates people who are buried down the old Dutch yard, but we do have a Revolutionary War veteran who is right around the corner here. Let's go pay him a visit.